Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 27 of our Exploring the CVerse series in TEW 2020. We are looking at Grim SoCal Wrestling, GSW. Explicit content. Hopefully YouTube does not mark it as such. Just based off of this company, but this is a very entertaining company. This is like one of the, I don't know if guilty pleasure is the right word, but I really find this company very entertaining for a variety of reasons. But we'll get to those in a second. But if you haven't already, check out the rest of the Exploring the CVerse series, 25 plus episodes now in, looking at all the starting companies in TEW 2020 and the Seavers. So not that many left to go now, as we are on to number 27 with Grim SoCal Wrestling, which is a tiny company, ranked 22nd in the world here, $125,000 to work with, so some fine cash, and you'll see why in a minute, why they have enough cash to work with here. Not a lot of prestige, but do have some momentum in their favor, 49%. Right now, we look at the size, 27 in the Southwest in the U.S., so you want to get to small, you got to get to 35 in the home region, so that is certainly doable, I think, from the start, so not that intimidating to get to that point. All right, let's talk about why they have a lot of cash. Well, one of the reasons why is that the well-known, high-profile Californian rapper, Brother Grimm, is the owner of the company, and that is because this is a company, as I have in my notes, that was started out of spite, because didn't like the direction of the company in IPW and was disrespected to start, and so that led him to start his own company here. So a spite company is what we would like to call this, but this is one that is very different because it is sort of just a hardcore promotion. And again, looking at sort of Grimm's profile as a high-profile rapper, that's where you get some of that cash, and you get, as it's sort of pushing the narrative here with the media contacts and the urban appeal with that hardcore focus. So, and the unique atmosphere of running it out of a warehouse club. So, this is, again, one of the more unique ones, I think, in the game, and that's why I find it very entertaining. I don't know that I've actually played with this company, but I do find a lot of appeal. I will say that. This may be one of the more, maybe like your sleeper pick. If you're looking for one really outside the box to play within the Seavers, I think GSW could fit that. All right, let's talk about this hardcore style as it stands. It is warehouse hardcore, and so really just all about the shock and awe. Brawling, lots of brawling. You'll see as the wrestler types, lots of brawlers, hardcore wrestling, and as usual, you have a rabid fan base with something like that. So I don't know if you want to compare it to ECW. You could in some form, I suppose, but this is something that, again, is definitely unique in terms of its comparison to most companies in the Seaverse. But the match focus 3-ring circus, so as always, that is kind of looking at putting the average of the main event plus the two highest other matches, highlights, as usual. That's kind of taking the three, combining them together. If you have three or more angles, less than that, you just kind of take what's left over from that and combining for the rating. So no face heel divide with this, so that is at least worth mentioning. But you do have stables and managers. We'll talk about one of the stables here in a minute. As usual, it's a hardcore promotion. You know what that means. Injuries are going to happen. There's going to be lots of wear and tear on the bodies, but luckily you're not running a touring schedule as a hardcore promotion. It's a good thing. So you should be able to, kind of mix and match where you need guys to take some time off, or, again, injuries are going to happen just with this type of style. And the good thing is you can have any type of match you want because the fans, again, are very rabid, and they will take anything as long as there is, just some blood flying around with the hardcore style. But as usual, don't do any of the sports entertainment finishes. Please don't do that. You know how that can go over and how it went over in ECW if they ever tried any of those kind of things. So match aims, worth noting. You do have to have 3 different ones on each show: a hardcore, wild brawl, and you can have a car crash or mayhem. So they've all got to be on there. It's a hardcore promotion. That's not going to be a hard thing to do. And you do get the bumps if you want to, and the bumps for the bumps, basically, here. You will get a big boost if you do some crazy bumps and all those kind of things. So, yeah, I mean, think of your sort of typical hardcore promotion. This has all the features of that, the way it's set up. The event schedule, really not a lot to note here. It's a normal schedule, monthly event for this promotion. King of California, that's going to be your annual tournament. So that takes place in your home region in Southwest. But I do like the event names. I did put that down. I mean, this is, if you're really embracing the style, Degeneration here, the Underground, all this sort of fun stuff. Gangsta's Paradise for all you Coolio fans out there. Yeah, we just I like the event names because it fits the company, and I think that's what you're going for when you do these. So again, if you want to compare this to ECW, if you want to compare it to GCW, there's a lot of possible comparisons you can make with kind of how the setup is for this promotion. Titles, we talked about, you do have the King of California here, so that's your annual tournament title. Your main title is the American Championship. Yeah, I mean, it's, kind of, as you can see, it's the main one, 42 Prestige right now, held by Deft Touch at the moment. You've got your West Coast Championship, so that's your lower level title. You've got it held by Esoteric. That is your current champion for that. So your secondary title, and then your tag team championships held by Aces High and Cali Slick, which I think is just a tremendous tag team here, especially thanks to these red shades. I think that's what really gets me on them. So floating level title for the tag titles. You can make them as important as you would like. As usual, when we talk about tiny companies in the CVerse, not a lot to look at through here unless you want to look at the production department and feel like maybe you want to up the broadcast quality a bit. That won't give you those penalties, so that's something you could probably do off the bat. You do have some cash, like I said, just with a notable rapper as your owner. You do have some cash to work with, so you can probably go ahead and just bump that up, perhaps, and not have many issues with that. None of the usual stuff in here is no. Sometimes we forget to look at the backstage on these companies. I know that's probably the one thing you guys are probably saying, why don't I look at that more? I just forget sometimes. But yeah, backstage environment, not really a worry to look at here as you start off with. So, all right, let's look at something here relationships-wise. As we talked about, IPW, hostile attitude towards IPW. That's given what Brother Grimm ran into with that company and ultimately forming GSW, so that's why you have that there. You are eligible to join the Federation of the Territories should you decide to go that direction. Hey, that's up to you, but IPW is in there, so I don't know if you want to play into the narrative. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. So that is something to look at there. All right, we talked about stables. We've got the Los Guerrilleros here as a three-person gang formed back in the 2016 portion of the TEW universe, and so it's Mexico's finest gang here. So you go full on, like, what was it? WWF had this going in the Attitude Era. You feel like you had a bunch of different sort of gangs, whether it was, I don't know, the different ones that were there. I don't know why I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you could go full on just building a bunch of those and make them your stables. I mean, again, you've got one right now. I would assume there's probably a way to get a few more out of 25 wrestlers you have on the roster, so you could go that route. Tag team division, I think, not a lot of tag team divisions, but you've got some interesting names, and you've got, again, the Long Beach crew here, these two guys with these shades. Boy, this is a menacing looking team here with Boneyard and BB Colossus. Oh my. I probably have a lot of fun booking that group there. So yeah, these are some hardcore dudes here. And so you've got the tag teams there, not many, but again, you only have 25 people on the roster, so shouldn't be that surprising with that. So yeah, I mean, you could have the sort of warfare stables type if you wanted to go with that direction with the company, I suppose. Play that out over the the event schedule and all that. Going to the creative here, Cali Slick's the top guy. You got Busta Cap, which, I mean, again, these names just really speak for themselves here. Boneyard we just looked at. I mean, you can look at the different, look, there's probably some good star quality on this roster. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and filter it. I usually do that with some of these, but I would have to think there's probably some good star quality, and, I'm just going to put 70. It's kind of a number here. So, yeah, you've got some guys who've got some quality. BB Colossus with a 92 on the Menace. So how could you use that? Brother Grimm, just the personality. So you could use him, I mean, given the entertainment skills. You can use him for angles if you wanted to do that. Bust a Cap, different, good star quality here. And yeah, I mean, hardcore is definitely what you're looking at in terms of the skills on that. Cali Slick, pretty versatile wrestler here with all the things he can do. Frosure is there, and he is a very popular choice probably for people if you're looking to hire, with other companies and all that kind of stuff. He's definitely one of the better ones out there, I think. I've looked at him in the TCW series I'm doing, which by the time you watch this, I don't know how many episodes will be into the TCW series, because I am trying to record these Exploring the CVerses a little bit ahead of time, just to kind of have these as backups for when we need them and things get a little slow on the booking front. But yeah, so again, you can look down and see all these different guys. Papa Swole, someone else that's out there with some really good skills. Doesn't have a great hardcore set, but I mean, he's only 23. So Raheem Stash just looks like a total badass. I mean, I don't know how. I have a hard time not using this guy, although his skills aren't the best, but his menace, yeah, I was going to say, his menace is there. That guy, right now, he's staring into my soul at this very moment. So, yeah, I mean, this is this is a good roster. Like, I'm telling you, like, this is one of those that, I don't know, like, I find some appeal with this company. And I'm not like, you guys probably know the ones I've already booked on the channel. I'm not booking a lot of hardcore stuff, like, by any means. I don't know if I've booked anything from a hardcore match standpoint, but this is just one of those. I think it's all about the personalities. And I think on this roster, you've got a lot of fun personalities you could play into. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of just, it's a different, unique challenge of trying to get people over. Big fan of this guy because he got Blink in his name. But he's a dark horse for future success. We're going to take a look at him here. He's not going to be a star, I can tell you that. 32 on the star quality, but that's okay. He's only 25. We got some stuff we can work with there. But yeah, I mean, just the names for some of these guys. Top Dollar, I don't think that's the guy that I've seen in WWE, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of different interesting styles of work. Again, you can look at guys that are powerhouse brawlers. We took, like this, you got a Daredevil style. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting group for sure. And I do think you've got some personalities to work with. What about MC Motormouth here? I'd be using MC Motormouth in every segment possible. This guy, the shades too are just, they're fantastic. So, yeah, I would definitely use him. I have to assume he's a heel manager. I could be wrong, but he's got the skills here entertainment-wise to really use him with that. So, yeah, that's at least worth noting. So, yeah, I mean, this is, again, it's probably, do you want to book a hardcore promotion? If you do, if you have any interest, I think it's the characters that could really be the most fun. And like I said, you have you have the King of California tournament you could run with some different ideas for that. If you wanted to build up more stables, you could do that too, and kind of just have the warfare back and forth with the stables. That's another option. So I do think there are a lot of options you could go with this company, and I think having the built-in idea of this like unique atmosphere, like how could you sort of play that up of this warehouse company essentially, and really pushing the hardcore style. Could this be your new ECW, or again, however you want to push it like that? I think there's some fun in this one. I'd say this is probably one of the more underrated companies. If you're wanting to start with a company in this range, as a tiny promotion that has some money in the United States, where you can pick, some independent workers out there that maybe you could pick up and kind of add to the mix. Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun options here with GCW. So there you go. There's some thoughts on GSW. And again, if you've played with this company before, be sure to leave your comments. Because that's where we get the most value out of this Exploring the CVerse series, is you guys leaving your comments. So many great comments out there throughout this series of how you've been playing with these companies, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Always enjoy that. So it helps everyone. So yeah, be sure to leave your feedback if you played with GSW before. And again, check out everything else on the channel. WWE, AEW, Exploring the CVerse. So we got the TCW save off and running, our first CVerse save on the channel, and all of that. So be sure to check all that out. Hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. But appreciate you guys as always. And on the next episode, because we just did GSW here, we've got to go to, what kind of led to GSW, and that is going to look at the place that Brother Grimm left, and that is Invincible Pro Wrestling IPW.